Hello everyone and welcome to NERDGOBLIN Art. I'm Lula. So it's a collaboration day, and it's a collaboration hosted by myself and Karen from the Dragon's Cave, and it's an exciting one, and it's a bit of a mixed bag one really. It's for World Music Day, and we're asking people to bring that forward with craft. You could bake it as well, you could write a poem, you could even do a dance, but it's mainly the crafting community that this was aimed at. So who doesn't love music? I love it. When I'm working on stuff in my studio, I'm very often listening to a wide range of stuff, from Rammstein to Joni Mitchell and things like Rusty Shackle, and you should look those guys up. They are awesome and they're from Wales. So today I am creating a mixed media piece, and I am basing it on a favourite band. They're a huge band, so yes, I'm going the huge band route, and it's Queen, but more precisely it's featuring Freddie Mercury. Now, growing up, it's these songs as a family, when we were having parties, celebrations or whatever, that everybody in the family would break out in song for. And also when on car trips, even my own kids now will break out in song when we're on a road trip somewhere. So there's only one thing for it. Let's go play. Okay, we are here at my desk and I have a canvas. It is a large round canvas. I think it's a 30 by 30 centimetre one, and I'm going to be doing some paint pouring. Now, I've only recently started dabbling in the realms of paint pouring, as some of you know, and I was banished to outside for doing it, but I've got a bunch of these handy dandy dust sheets to stop me making an absolute mess inside. I was struggling too much to do this outdoors because physically it was more taxing on me. Right then, I want to create a mixed media piece today, and it's involving, as you can see, some paint pouring. It's also going to be involving a 3D print, which is buzzing away because this is going to take more than a day to dry. And it's also going to involve some glitter and some UV resin. The idea is I have a 3D print of Freddie Mercury in probably one of his most famous poses. You know, the one where he's wearing his leather jacket and arm reached into the air, you know, pumping the sky. You'll see it in a little bit. I thought it'd be cool to, you know, show it to you, and then you'll get why I'm doing what I'm currently doing. Now, I have very little, no idea when it comes to paint pouring. I'm watching loads of videos on it, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think it's witchcraft. What some of these artists can do is amazing, and it's beautiful. I'm an acrylic painter. I paint stuff. I've never until this last month attempted to pour paint. If anything, I genuinely thought it was a waste of paint, but that's because I was just seeing people maybe back in lockdown on Facebook who really weren't doing it properly. But when you find these YouTube channels that do the paint pouring, and you see what they can do, and you see what they actually can achieve, and they're not wasting the paint at all. And if anything, I'm going to get some skins out of this for potential jewellery making, which is cool. I realised not long after I started pouring the paint that my heat gun is not strong enough. to move paint. And the hairdryer, my lovely loyal hairdryer that I've had for years, that I use to dry between doing paintings, isn't strong enough either. It's ideal for what I use it for in drying the paints, but it will not move any paint around. So I'm having to use more of the movement, which you've just seen me do. I'm using my Lazy Susan so I can pick it up a bit more. It doesn't stop me. Excuse if you just heard a weird noise. Mr. Goblin is all snotty. He's in the distance and he just had a big sneeze. So I'm, like I said, I'm lifting it up and I'm adjusting and moving it. I still get covered in paint. I probably should have put gloves on, but I was too excited and I was enjoying myself. So there we go. I opted to try out some paint pour, actual made up pouring paint, which was on offer in my local range. It was a huge kit and originally it was like $16.99 and I was happy to pay that, but I got to the till and she said that's £7.50 and I was like, really? Okay. And we left the shop very quickly just in case they realized and they went to call us back, because who doesn't like a bargain? So the kit comes with a bunch of different colors, all pre-made, and also with some silicone, which you can add in as much as you like or as little as you like. This I wanted to create like it's a burst of energy. Like there's lightning and, you know, the middle part of it, I want it to be the light and it's all bursting out and you can see all the electricity coming out and around the piece. I'm so far thoroughly enjoying myself. And by the way, I have ordered a new gun that I can use to blow paint around, because I don't only need it for, you know, moving paint, I also need it for moving resin. And because I've never attempted to move resin with the heat gun I do currently have, I didn't realize it was no good for that. So there we go. So I'm just moving it around and I'm just looking and, you know, I'm just kind of going with the flow of the paint. I don't want to lose too much of the white center. I still want that to be the explosive part of it going outwards. And I'm also really very wary about any of the white mixing too much with the black, because I don't want grey. So that's why we've got the barriers of the darker and the lighter blue. They didn't have names on the bottles, they're just called black, blue, light blue, and such as that. And I've also put a silver in there as well. It did look like on the bottle that it had a tiny little bit of a shimmer to it, but I really don't see it in this set. But it is an inexpensive set, so that is something to be wary of. And I only put the silicone into the blue colours. I didn't put any in the black or in the white, but I will add a little bit to the white, because as I'm spreading it out, I'm looking and I decided that it needed a little more white out to the sides. And yes, like I said, I'm very, very wary of the white mixing too much with the black, because I don't want grey. But at this point, I don't think they're going to start melting or gel, you know, they're not going to mix together too much, because I have no intention of doing too much of the twisty turny stuff and such. I do have a cake turner stand thing, but it's quite tall and for my desk, and I just thought that it might cascade more, so I'm going to pick up some more of the dust sheets to make sure I can put some on the floor as well at my feet. So I've added a little bit of silicone into there, and as you can see, just a thin line of the white going around, just to see if I could get a little bit of movement there, but it's not really. So a tiny little bit of movement, I'm also wanting to make absolutely sure that I'm getting paint right to the edges as well, because as you can see, it's because I'm being clumsy. I do put my fingers in the way. I'm messy. I am a messy painter. It might not look like it on screen too much, but the paint went through my apron when I was doing some in the garden this morning. So I changed it to a different kind of apron. So I've got one of my palette knives, and as I said, I don't want to mix it, but I did want a little, like a point of interest where this white is going. I wanted it to kind of fan off a little bit. And then because I added some of the silicone into the last of the white, I was hoping that this is what would kind of happen with it. And you know, the heat does bring up, just does help some of those cells. But again, like I said, it isn't marginally inexpensive kit. I do have Peebo silicone, but I decided to save that and just use everything that was in the kit. And you can see here that there are some lovely cells going on, but I also didn't know how much of it to use, so it was a little bit of trial and error. And I'm very new to using stuff like this, like the gunny thingy thing, the little flamethrower. And I'm amazed that Mr. Goblin wasn't standing next to my desk with a fire extinguisher, because I'm a liability, but he did not. So there's something in that at least. So as I said at the start, this is a mixed media piece, and it is for the love of Freddie. And as I said as well, it's just one of those bands, whether you love or hate them, you know who they are. It could be a couple of strums at the beginning of the song, and whether you're a fan or not, you are going to know who it is. You know, it's iconic, and that's what was iconic about them. And music is so important in my life in particular. I know that a lot of people love music for many of the same reasons. You know, I listen to music when I'm sad. I listen to music when I'm happy. I listen to music when I want to be happy because I'm feeling sad. I'll listen to music when I'm feeling cross. You know, there's nothing like listening to something while you're doing the housework and it being on full blast and noisy and loud, so you can just dance and sing and or you know, all with it. Or you know, if you're going through something and a song reminds you of somebody that you've lost and you love, that's the power of music. You know, I lost my father-in-law 2 years ago, and he was a wonderful, wonderful father-in-law, Mr. Goblin's dad, and he was such a big support of me. And just listening to anything by David Bowie, it just makes me think of him. You know, so I will be doing another make on David Bowie, but not for this one. So I'm happy with how this looks. I really, really am. I'm actually excited because the last ones I did weren't that great. So the 3D printer is on, and this is a Bamboo Lab filament printer, and it's been buzzing away. It's a really nice machine, actually. This is more Mr. Goblin's thing. I'm not really technical minded, and people who think a 3D printer is just a printer that you turn on are very much mistaken. They are very technical. So here is the 3D print, and this is what I wanted. This is kind of what it is. It's not kind of, it is what I was envisioning. I could have painted it. I could have painted it in my normal way, but I wanted something to be a little bit more out of my control. And I think this is what that paint pour has done, and I'm absolutely blown away. Now, this was 3D printed and it was taken outside as well, and it was sprayed with black. And what I want to do is I'm going to attach it. I'm happy with where it is, and I'm going to try and get it in kind of the same position. And I'm using my glue gun to attach it into place. And I'm then going to be using some of the Merge Purge. It's a sparkly one, it was special, to go over the 3D print. And honestly, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be ace. And I think I kind of get it in the right position. I ended up with a tiny little bit of an indent in the white because a cat hair appeared from nowhere last night when I came to check on it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, no. So I didn't want to faff around with it too much. So that's what I managed to do, is use the 3D print to cover that little bit of an indent. So I'm happy with that. And there's my Merge Purge, and it's a sparkle one, so it's very special. So I'm going to go all over this 3D print with the glittery Merge Purge. I'm not putting it on thickly, so it will dry fairly quickly. And I will have to do a little bit of a cleanup where I've put a little bit too much on my brush, just because I don't want it gathered in corners where you can see there where it's gathered a little bit because there was too much on the brush. So I will go around using a micro brush just to get into all those little grooves, so it's a much tidier thing. And then once it's dry, I'm going to be using UV resin to go all over the top of the 3D print, not on the canvas at all. I just want another element. I want something that's going to help that glitter go pop, and it's gonna look magical, because it should. Okay, I want to take this opportunity to thank my subscribers. You are all wonderful. Thank you for your likes and your subscribes and your comments. Your comments recently regarding me showing my face, it really does, it matters, because showing your face on these kind of platforms, it's nerve-wracking because there aren't nice or kind people out there. You know, you get those sort who want to pick and want to poke and will just want to be unkind just because it's something for them to do. And I think it's why a lot of creators don't show their faces. I don't like my face very much, but I'm told off constantly by loved ones to stop doing that, and I'm trying to not do that. So there we go. If you are not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. It's absolutely free, and it just helps my channel and my mug be seen a little bit more. And there's also an option to join my memberships, and it's only $3.99 a month, and you get a bunch of, you know, little extras that way. And I've also got a Discord group now, which I've linked in the description box. It's right the way down the bottom by my email address and things like that. Okay, you've seen enough of me brushing on glue. I'll stop it here and we'll come back for the next stage. Okay, at this point I'm just using a micro brush just to go all the way round any parts that I managed to get any glue down to the sides. I don't want it to look like any glue drippings and stuff like that. Yes, it's gonna dry clear, but from the way I look at it, I would be able to see any untidy drips coming down the side when I'm looking at it. So I want it to be a very tidy job, because apparently I can't do a tidy job in the first place. So that is the next stage, and then we're going to leave it to dry. I just finished cleaning this up and I've got some glitter from the shelf, and I just decided it needed that little bit of extra, just a teeny weeny little bit, which I'm putting over now. And I dip my fingers in, as you know, and I'm pretending to be a fairy, basically, la 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 la, just like that. So it's just gone all over, and I've even clapping my hands, brushing it all over, and this is really gonna make it pop. Look at that already. It's already practically dry, but that little bit of extra, oh my goodness, it's exciting. I can't wait to do this next part. So I'm going to leave it a few minutes. I said a few minutes, I actually left it for about half an hour, and it's nice and dry. There's maybe a few little bits that I couldn't get to, but that is fine. So I'm using J Diction UV resin, and as you could see, I'm just squeezing it straight from the bottle, not adding anything to it, and I'm just going to use my torch, and it's going to be a bit by bit job, and really concentrating and encouraging the resin to the edges, and hoping that I can do this in a very tidy like manner. I'll be using my torch in between each section that I do, but it took me around 45 minutes to do the whole 3D print. So I'm not going to show you the entirety of that. In fact, I decided to turn the camera off completely. I didn't even continue to record, and then edit later. I was like, no, I need to concentrate on this, but I just wanted to show you how I started it and what I was doing. The good thing is as well with this is with a 3D print, when you use the filament printer, you can get very tiny little lines in your prints. That is with the filament. It helped spraying it with the black spray, but you could still see a few of the lines, and what doing this does is it takes those away. So I'm going to use my UV torch just to make sure that that is nicely in place, and it will get a good blast with the actual lamp once I'm done. I am being wary and holding my torch up a bit higher at first because I don't want any wrinkling to happen. It shouldn't, because it is just clear UV resin going on the black surface, so it will cure thoroughly. But to avoid any chances of stickiness and stuff, that's why I'm going to use my lamp. And of course, using the UV resin as well, not only helping protect it a little bit more, it really is, and I've seen it, I made it, I filmed it. It really is gonna help this glitter, and it's just gonna, oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to show you. I really can't wait to show you. I'm so glad I get to surprise you a little bit at the end by stopping at this point. So you get the idea? Is looking good? Right then, be back for the reveal. Somebody stole it. No, I'm just kidding. Look at this. Oh my goodness. It was worth it. It was really, really worth it. It was a fussy thing to do using the UV resin, but I am so happy with this. I absolutely love it, and I hope that you really like it too, and I hope that you guys are inspired. I love creating mixed media pieces. Please check out the playlist below. I'm so excited to see what everybody's getting up to. Check out the glamour shots at the end. Love you, and stay beautifully weird.
Goblin whispers in my ear, stay weird, stay wild, no need to fear. She molds her dreams with resin and clay. Whimsical wonders brighten the day. Stay wonderfully weird, let your colors unfold. Frogs and dragons, stories untold. Crocodiles dance in a resin sea. Stay weird, stay wild, stay beautifully free. She paints the night with the dragon's flame. In her hands the world's never the same.